You're not up to 15 minutes.
But I don't
7:50,
know.
it's almost 7:50.
You want to break 12, 12.
We'll go back to the north and.
I didn't see it.
I want to touch on weekend.
I don't ever touch that. Then hit the home button.
This is the road.
There.
Usually you know, the road bump.
Go down.
We're in business.
Are we good now?
7:12.
Let's see. Good evening. Call this meeting, the regular, special meeting of council. Moved by Councillor McGinnis, seconded by Councillor Steve, that this special meeting of council be open at 7:12 p.m. All in favor? Carrie? Any disclosure or pecuniary interest in general nature thereof? And we'll move on to our agenda items. Presentation by Katrina B, purchase of township land.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't prepared to present anything. Am
like
I
the
okay to just
material?
sit here?
Sure.
Okay, what my neighbor Shane wants and I are requesting is the ability to purchase a parcel of land that's owned by the township. And then what we would like to do is do a lot line adjustment with that piece of property. Right now, I believe do you have a copy of the letter and the nice pictures? I think the pictures kind of speak to what we're trying to do. Right now, our properties are very funky and they're intertwined quite nastily, I would almost say.
It's an F, actually, it's the shape of an F, and we want to eliminate the top part of the F and keep the bottom part because it's okay, it works that way, but yeah.
In simplicity, we'd like to say one side of the Rockridge
Road.
Lane Road is Shane's.
Yes.
The other half would be ours.
Right.
It doesn't make for a perfect square visually on our,
It's straight lines.
on the
It's-
survey, thank you, that's the word.
It's simple.
But it does make it simple with the property when you're visiting and checking it out. So. And then it again makes both our properties more usable.
Yes,
How much is there? But
40 yards by 40 yards. So
Is
I'm
that right?
talking about roughly about for purchasing the piece.
Yeah.
I'm just, I golf. I'm just golf. I'm just, sorry, didn't get a measuring stick out, but I'm guessing it's something like 40 by 40. That may
Maybe
be
a third of an
overestimated.
acre?
A 60-degree wedge is what you're talking about.
Yes, not even, like, we're just talking a little bump, but it's just the point that the road should subdivide the two properties and it would make it easy. And right now, we're going into their garage, or just in front of their garage for no reason. This was broken up by the owners before, and he was just trying to meet some square footage requirements of whatever the zoning was at the time, rather than having anything functional. And that's what he came up with.
There's a line that kind of goes, what is
All the way down.
that?
That is the private road, Rockridge Lane.
Oh, okay.
So it is a right of way is what it is. So each of us own the parcels of our property, but it is a right of way that obviously we can't obstruct or do anything with. So I've marked it on the drawings because it is of significance, but again, not of, it's not a public access or public road either. It's public access, not a public road.
is it a registered right away?
That I don't know.
The road.
Yeah, Rockridge Lane.
That's a good question.
I
I think,
don't-
I think it would have to be.
And I don't think it is. I think it is just a,
I would have.
and you know what? I think on that survey, I don't know if I had it, if you can
It's-
zoom.
It's all on the red property.
Yes, right now, again, because we already own the part that is on our properties, we already own it, so we just figured we'd follow that same straight line. If it makes a difference to have more belonging to the yellow property, for lack of better words, we can absolutely do that. It was just to keep lines straight because already the red property owns part of that.
Does the township use this property for anything? No, like no turnarounds, no nothing like that.
No, I believe that there was it's a registered subdivision. So it was probably in lieu of it was parkland designation. So often a severance would have a 1 foot by 1 foot. You would give money for having parkland, etc. Sometimes in subdivisions, you actually retain a parcel of property so that in the future a playground could be established or etc.
So how does this affect us in the future if we get to sell this portion of land?
You can't make a playground there. And currently it's not really like a typical subdivision you would see. Like you're back on Shields Point, it's more rural. The properties are separated. It's not like a close subdivision like North Star would be or Callan Crescent.
So there's no road allowance on here, no 66 feet that they own at all.
I think that subdivision was approved by the prophets originally.
I believe all subdivisions have to be approved by the province.
Not all anymore.
Oh, okay,
We do have subdivision approval now,
okay.
but this may have been when it was the province.
Yes,
but
for sure.
so there would be some registered deeds for that access, but we don't utilize this space at all.
Do we know the size of that?
I don't know it off the top of my head, sorry.
I'm assuming
It's very insignificant.
40 yards by 40 yards.
Oh, my 40 yards and your 40 yards. might be-
Is that a football field?
No, that's
No.
100 yards.
Oh, I don't know.
I can certainly find that out and.
Who owns
do a little-
140?
Oh, yeah.
140?
And how much road frontage do you have?
I don't think we have any of the road. do we?
You have road frontage
Okay.
on Shields Point, your driveway. Is Shields Point. You know what, the dimensions are on the drawing.
I was
We
just
do,
gonna say the
yeah,
judge.
let me see if I can pull that
Two of them.
up.
Sorry, didn't
No.
realize.
And I can bring back a report that would list all.
I
of
brought
this.
ID.
And your
One
goal
inch.
score.
Yeah, I
I can
think
prove
it's-
I
Oh, well,
That's all about your license.
1 inch is 30
Yeah.
feet, but that's really hard to
So
do.
where's the even that is?
That's
Um,
here.
1 inch.
I just
30
can't
feet.
see
I know.
what
So about
benefit
60
it would be to
I
us.
always thought, you know,
Oh,
it's
no,
weird because.
we gotta know what we're giving them, what's selling.
Yeah.
Pardon?
We have to know what we're selling though.
Oh, absolutely.
So
And do we still, is there still a zoning law that they have to have so many
I also see-
feet of whatever? Does that satisfy that?
Yeah, it would still satisfy
You're adding.
because they're adding that to
Yeah.
both of those
They're just
lots.
straightening out the line.
Yeah. And there
I
is a
could see
whole
better
process of what they have to do.
The
It's already
block,
set
what
out.
does it say, Steve, what's the block?
Can I ask a quick question while you look that up?
Sure.
Is the-
Sorry.
Is the intention, now if Rock Ridge Lane is what it's called, is not registered on title, obviously this is designating it all to one piece of property. Either both owners agree to that and or we register it on title, the Rock Ridge Lane, like I think what we're trying to prevent is future disputes of this lane that exists, doesn't exist. Trust me, we are in the middle of it with a few different pieces of property now, so we'd want to make sure that either it's very clear that it doesn't actually exist and we'd note that on their files, or if it exists, that it's there and registered on title.
So on the survey that I have, and I don't know how old the survey is, but this is where I based these pictures from. The survey says publicly traveled, privately maintained road known locally as Rock Ridge Lane. Again, I don't believe it's a registered road. I believe it's just a right of way.
But you can see it on the title or on the zoning there?
on
On,
the title.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
the same thing I'm looking at.
so it would have been the survey of our property whenever this was done, I don't know if that would have been early 2000s or when.
I would imagine
exactly
that's
was
it.
done.
I think all those
1950s.
registrations, I think these registrations, the easement is subject to these different
Easement.
registrations,
Right.
right? Where it says subject to easement numbers, and it gives all the numbers.
Right.
So that easement is for those properties?
I'm not sure
No?
where you're, are you looking at?
In the
Yeah,
crosshatch
yeah, right
area
here.
that belongs
Yeah.
to Bond
Yeah, I
Field.
think you're right.
Oh,
I would
okay,
think that the
gotcha.
easements would do that, but
Um,
we were thinking this was just beginning of due process, so we were
And
coming
it's
here just to put this on. the
Yeah, yeah.
I moved from
Yeah.
there, but you know,
I think what makes sense is,
we're happy to look all this up.
Yeah.
well, and well, that would be great.
Honestly, it seemed fairly straightforward.
I'm sure it is.
Everybody
We,
uses this, we pay into this road association, which is how we know it's private, basically.
Right.
because Nobody else is helping us.
I'm sure it is straightforward. We're all a little concerned because we're
Absolutely.
cleaning up some messes of like property that had a road, doesn't have a road, we don't know.
Absolutely, I
Yeah.
don't wanna.
Why don't we
upset
just get the
anything.
CAO to give us a read?
Yeah, if you can work with
Yeah,
CAO, she'll bring up
yeah.
a report.
Well,
and
like I
I'm sure
said,
it'll be
you
fine.
know, nobody is planning on doing anything with either the properties tomorrow.
Right,
This is,
yeah.
this is like one of those things where down the road, if we want to do something, we know we can, but right now.
It's,
And you
it's
both-
always the down the road stuff.
If we
Yeah.
didn't know,
Yes,
if we
I
didn't go
agree
through what we just went through, we'd probably be like, oh, no problem. And we're all like, oh, gosh. That's
And
just
so
problems.
both of your driveways come off of Shields Point, right?
No.
No.
Rockridge. Shane's
Ours
does.
does, yes, and then everybody else, so we have this private driveway, which is actually kind of weird because it's just our land, but anyways, you know how roads are, so that was a designated driveway that's private. And then the rest of the road is for everybody else. We've used it ourselves.
I can't even imagine
It's
that.
just bizarre. It's not,
So when you're looking at that line that you asked about,
Yes.
that's the private road Rockridge Lane. And this is the reason why his address is Shields Point Road. Our address is Rockridge Lane.
yes.
So our driveway comes off of that line that you see. His driveway comes all the way from the yellow portion.
Yeah, you got like that nice little skinny piece. You could put a road right there.
We don't need to use a road, and we can't change the road because again, it is
Yeah.
a right of way that.
But what do you do with that little skinny piece along the side? Nothing?
So you're looking at the first picture?
Yeah.
I have no clue why it existed like that. This is again part of rumors. I don't know if they're true or what. My understanding was when this subdivision was built, all the properties had to have frontage on a municipal road,
Oh.
which that 20 feet strip allowed us to have municipal access. But no, it is not a usable piece of land to make a road at, because if you actually look at it, we're called Rockridge Lane for a reason.
Yeah.
And there's no traveling down that pathway there.
Okay.
So there's homes beyond your home, right?
That
Yes,
is
correct.
So that, those numbers, that easement, all of those are registration numbers with the land registry
Yeah.
office, land titles
Yeah.
office, and they all have access. That's an
That is
easement for
correct.
all of them,
That is.
that
correct.
Yes.
driveway or whatever it is.
So
But-
nothing changes with that in what we want to do. Because
That's
both, it's us being a little bit at the top of the point and
Sorry, I lost
trading
it.
off.
No, it's fine.
So it's-
No, that's, it makes sense.
It's actually would make a whole lot of sense for everybody because whoever would be looking at this from now on wouldn't be just nuts.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
It's just insane, right?
I think the mayor is right, and that actually gives me some, like, I think it is all registered on titles with the easements.
It's just
So-
insane.
Yeah, that's good.
The fact that we actually have a win-win situation in this.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Unbelievable.
The fact that you guys are sitting here and talking
Yeah,
nicely and
together,
happy,
yeah.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Not like the last one. eh?
Yeah.
This doesn't seem like it affects anybody else because they're not doing anything with that land access anyhow. I would be prepared moving forward and just letting them deal directly with the CAO. Like, we don't use the land, we don't need the land, so we don't need to wait to see how big of a
What would
land
we
it
sell it
is.
for? Or is it
Well,
market
she
value?
would
or-
be-
There's policies already in
Yeah,
place that
yeah,
would do
okay.
that.
They would have to cover
That
like
it's
legal
sealed.
fees and
Yeah, yeah,
everything
yeah,
and like whatever they come up with, but I don't even feel this needs to come back to us.
yeah. I just have
Yeah,
a million.
It will need to come back to you.
We're looking to pave some roads.
So there is a policy for the disposal of land if you are going to sell something. So, I mean, it is probably a very negligible amount.
Right.
But it's already in that policy. It'll be so much per square foot or per yard.
Yeah.
We can get all of that looked at in like internally here and then just bring the final resolution to council. if you're
Perfect.
open For that to
That's,
do the sale.
Because they're still, they're guaranteed an easement to go out,
Mhm.
because that looks like it's
Yeah, that's good.
registered on title.
But they're not changing the easement, so.
No,
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 no, the
nothing
easement
changes.
stays there.
yeah, that's good.
I know we've talked to neighbors. like,
Okay, so
about
we're
doing
going to
this.
give that to Nikki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our CA.
Her too. Yeah. Okay,
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much.
thank you.
That was good.
Thanks for coming together and actually,
Well, we tried to make it easier.
yeah, that's good.
So,
It's perfect.
I got ID.
You're gonna stay for the rest of the show,
I
right?
am.
Okay.
Are you?
Yes.
Oh, wow,
Come
okay, it's a
on.
good movie.
Because I wanna
mean,
see your ID later.
Okay. I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't even sit through movies.
Okay, we're going on to our next resolution. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor McGinnis. The council approved the general accounts for the township of Bonfield as indicated in the disbursement report dated August 28, 2023, in the amount of $465,518.54. Any questions?
Well, my only question is that doesn't seem to match what we have actually in the disbursements report, which is 456,000. Yeah, 518, yeah. I think it's either supposed to be 456 or 465. It's inverted on one of the two, so whichever one's correct. You say I don't pay attention to details.
Well, you missed my birthday.
So is it the resolution that's wrong?
I'm not sure.
Well,
Is it, how much is it? 456 or 465?
do we have to do some math?
This looks like it adds up though.
Okay, so then I
456.
think they just inverted the number. I think it's 456.
Yeah.
Did you use your calculator for that?
No, I can just compare two numbers.
That the council approve the general accounts for the township of Bonfield as indicated in the disbursement report dated August 28, 2023, in the amount of $456,518.54. All in favor? Carried.
On Jason's map.
Now we're in trouble. Thank you.
Having one.
The next one we have is the AMO motion of support legislative amendments to improve municipal codes of conduct and enforcement. Is there a resolution for that? Or do we just ask for one?
Is then in that one?
Did I skip one? No.
This was last,
This was the last.
yeah.
3.3.
Right, so it was from the last meeting where these resolutions were to be brought back. So those resolutions should be.
So it should be in here?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. You're gonna regret sticking around now. That's a long one.
The full page.
Leave now.
Breakdown?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a breakdown. while we break down.
Okay, you
No,
guys
it's
sit
riveting. It's
sit
riveting.
back, it's gonna be a long story. Moved by Councillor McGinnis, seconded by Councillor Featherstone. Whereas all Ontarians deserve and expect a safe and respectful workplace. Whereas municipal governments as a democratic institutions mostly directly engaged with Ontarians need respectful discourse. Whereas several incidents in recent years of disrespectful behavior and workplace harassment have occurred amongst members of municipal councils. Whereas these incidents seriously and negatively affect the people involved and lower public perceptions of local governments. Whereas municipal codes of conduct are helpful tools to set expectations of council member behavior. Whereas municipal governments do not have the necessary tools to adequately enforce compliance with municipal codes of conduct. And now therefore be it resolved that the Township of Bonfield supports the call of the Association of Municipalities of Ontario for the Government of Ontario to introduce legislation to strengthen municipal codes of conduct and compliance with them in consultation with municipal governments. Also be it resolved that the legislation encompass the Association of Municipalities of Ontario's recommendation for updating municipal codes of conduct to account for workplace safety and harassment, creating a flexible administrative penalty regime adapted to the local economic and financial circumstances of municipalities across Ontario, increasing training of municipal integrity commissioners to enhance consistency of investigations and recommendations across the province, allowing municipalities to apply to a member of the judiciary to remove a sitting member if recommended through the report of a municipal integrity commissioner, prohibit a member so removed from sitting for election in the term of removal and the subsequent term of office. Any questions?
Could you read it again?
I have just a comment. We were at AMO and during the political forum, the ministers forum, someone got up, a woman got up and actually asked them, because this has actually gone to the floor 3 times and they've defeated it. The current government has defeated it all 3 times. And she asked why and really did not get an answer, but she did get a standing ovation. So
She made her point.
yes,
right.
but still nothing has been done. So.
All in favor? Carried. You wouldn't dare not
Oh,
support.
heck no.
All right.
Then we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Support Chatham Kent. Time for change of Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Okay.
You'll read this one, right?
Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor McGinnis, that the Township of Bonfield supports the June 26, 2023 resolution of the Municipality of Chatham Kent regarding time for change, Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Any questions? All in favor? Carrying. Okay. Next. We have the exemption from commercial tipping fees, been there, store that. We'll have a motion. I'll read the motion. Moved by Councillor McGinnis, seconded by Councillor Featherstone. Whereas the Public Works Manager has been approached by business owner Sean Burnett of Bin There, Store That regarding commercial tipping fees of yard measured bins, and that the owner requests to be exempt as a yard measured bin due to the size of the bins that he is offering to his customers. Therefore, the Public Works Manager recommends to Council that Mr. Burnett pay the yard bin tipping rate for commercial rate bins and take into consideration his letter of concern when the tipping fees are reviewed in 2024.
I have a question. Do we have declarations that are being signed or something, like where the material is coming from to go enter into our landfills?
So we know where all of it comes from. We have a contractor permit. Most of our commercial bins call ahead and say we have a bin coming from and the address. You can see, because I'm around often, going around the township, you can see where the bins are placed. So it's always confirmed that they're coming from our municipality and our taxpayers. So if for instance, if a roofing company is doing a roof, they have to get a permit from us, it's free of charge. And the homeowner signs off to say that this contractor's dumping on my
Right.
behalf.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure something was in
Yeah.
place for that.
It's not, it's no charge, it's just a slight inconvenience to ensure that,
But,
it's done.
right.
I am Sean Burnett. Can I speak?
It's up to the
You
mayor.
want to ask a question? Sure.
Yeah, see, the reason why I approached this is because, I've been watching the landfill, and there's a lot of people that, like, a dump trailer is actually bigger than my bin is. So, and they're paying $60, where my 10-yard bin is gonna be $150. So people are paying these people cash money underneath the table instead of coming to me, because I have to charge the taxpayer more money. And I, had to spend $3,000 on a Ministry of Environment license, where these commercial vehicles are not paying for this Ministry of Environment license. They shouldn't even be dumping if they have a commercial vehicle. So this is where I'm trying to help the taxpayers. And by them being able to hire someone, that's not legitimate for a quarter of the price, and, half the tipping fees or 1/4 of the tipping fees, it doesn't make me competitive in any way. Like East Ferris is working with me, all the other municipalities, North Bay, I'm only having a hard time in my local community, where I have to pay double someone else. You also have pickup trucks that are putting big sides on their trucks that can carry more than my bin can carry. So I'm really just trying to help. But when I have to pay twice, when I tell the customer, oh, I'm gonna, it's gonna be $150 tipping fee because it's 10-yard bin, and they can get a 15-yard dump trailer from their friends for cash underneath the table, I can't do anything. Like, I haven't been able to get any. This is Bonfield. I'm doing East Ferris, North Bay. It's kind of sad. So that's where I'm coming from on this.
I would like to add that I may be slightly confused. Are you trying to be like a contractor for only the township of Bonfield?
No, just I'm trying to be a contract for the residents of Bonfield, right? Just that it's not commercial, or I'm just trying to help people out, for example, East Ferris was $80 for me to dump. Here would be over $150. North Bay cost me $70, including 2 mattresses, because they go by weight. It's a lot more
But
expensive.
they also charge for mattresses.
Yeah,
So,
$35.
yes.
And I
so-
only had to pay $70 total. So it makes me very uncompetitive to try and do this. I understand if I have a 50-yard bin, if I can order, but again, the fact that there's a lot of local people with dump trailers putting sides on them and picking up without Ministry of Environment licenses, they could be putting oil or any, I know, but I'm legitimate, right? I pay commercial insurance, which is $10,000 a year. I pay $3,000 for a Ministry of Environment license. That's why it's very hard for me to be competitive when I'm paying more than double someone with a dump trailer that's bigger than my bin.
Yeah.
Sorry, no. So what you're picking up and bringing to the landfill in Bonfield is from Bonfield residents.
Absolutely.
So it's not East Ferris
Yeah.
coming into the Bonfield.
I only work with the municipality that.
And we track that as far as which address, like you would, much like anybody else, we know that it's from Bonfield. And does that end up, so that tipping fee of whatever, so does that exclude, like, everybody gets a one, you clean up load or 2, sorry. Does that come off the residents 2 that they get a year, or is that?
It depends if it's commercially, we don't usually accept that as a cleanup load, because commercially they're making an income from removing.
Right, of
Right.
course.
So a typical free load has no construction material.
Right.
You've cleaned up your yard, or you cleaned out your garage or something to that effect, and it's not used through the commercial application of use at the landfill. So for instance, if Miller calls and says, we have a bin, they're not allowed to say it's a free cleanup load.
Right.
right, and no offense, but the residents do if they borrow their neighbor's trailer or any other way that they try to get their load to the landfill, it's because they're borrowed the trailer from the neighbor or et cetera.
See, that's where I think that I should be able to offer that, because it's the same, right? I'd be doing, it's not commercial, it's not construction, it's yard cleanup. So I'm helping the community by helping them clean up, right? Offering my service. Yes, I'm charging them $200, but I'm doing it legitimately, you know,
Right.
with proper commercial insurance, with Ministry of Environment. You know, if a dump trailer has to have commercial insurance, they shouldn't be dumping at the dump without a Ministry of Environment license. So I'm just trying to help. That's all I'm trying to do.
Are there other such businesses that do this?
We do have a contractor that, I don't know who, if it's Patricia's or Calvin's. Anyways, there is a contractor that has, people pay him to come and pick up all their garbage on
Only-
Thursdays.
Only household garbage
Yes,
though.
yes, and they're recycling, and they follow the processes.
And do they have, you know, Ministry of Environment license?
Yes, and they have insurance.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that would be similar to what I want to do.
And what, do they pay the yardage thing?
They pay him so much dollars
Per
per
year.
garbage bag
Or
or
per
per
year.
year, yes.
It's per year if you want it, he picks your household garbage up per year.
For how much does
No,
it
but
pay
what
for landfill?
what does he pay in tipping fee?
He does not. So the citizen uses their landfill passes with
Right.
him. So all the garbage he picks up, there's all the bags are still counted. Yes,
But I should be able
It's
to.
only
do the same, right?
No, because you're a business and
Yeah.
you're taking construction material.
No.
These people are doing household garbage.
That's what I'm be doing as well. You
You're
know,
gonna fill a bin with household garbage.
well, but if they want to clean out their garage or their shed, or that's what I mostly do, right? It's not a huge bin. Commercial, that's where Ken or Mill are like, you know, they're redoing that apartment building. They got the big, huge, you know, I'm just little. I'm just doing, like I just did 2 garages. Someone passed away, so they cleaned out their house. That's the same kind of thing. That's why I want to be able to use, if they could use their 1 a year, I'm helping them clean up their yard.
I mean, we're protecting our landfill. I mean,
So, sorry, what number of this are, like, guys, so I'm going down through 1 through 22, are there various? And you're a,
15 per yard.
you said $150 and we don't see that on.
yeah,
$15 a yard.
No, $15 a yard.
$15 a
Now,
yard.
the other thing is, if you look on that list, there's single axle truck. My truck is a single axle. So why
So-
did it switch to
Still trying to
100?
find the $15, oh, cubic yards.
So I have the pay rate here and a single axle commercial trailer is $45.
Yeah, which could be just as big as my bin. And then if you go single axle truck, which is I think 120 or $100,
$100,
Yeah.
single axle truck, yeah.
which can still be bigger than my truck. It's only $100, but you want to charge me by a yard because I can drop the bin off. It's still a dump truck. It's still the same, but I can take it off my truck. This is where I'm not competitive. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. When
So
I,
it's number
see what you're
12,
saying,
the
actually.
waste
Tandem.
container, right?
yeah, but a tandem axle truck can hold almost 20 yards and it's the same price. It could hold even more than 20. This is what I mean. by-
Mr. Burnett,
10.
in the motion, what it says that we would take into consideration your letter of concern when the tipping fees are reviewed in 2024. So when we take into consideration his letter, how would that affect our decision for the 2024?
Because in 2024, that's when the tipping fees are due for review, and we review them every 3 years. Plus, we are engaging in
A review of the entire user fee bylaw.
right. And then we would use Mr. Burnett's letter when we have our discussion on those user fees at the landfill. We can discuss, like, is there exemptions? Because currently, because how our structure is set up for the tipping fees, we charge Mr. Burnett per yard commercial rate because he is using yard bins. We don't the staff is instructed to do so with the tipping fees as their guide. And unfortunately, or fortunately, that's what they do, is what they're told by the bylaw. So when we have that review, we would bring Mr. Burnett's letter forward to have it as a part of consideration in our fees.
Okay, and when do you do that?
It has to be renewed before July 1st of next year.
But we're hopeful to do a user fee bylaw that would be starting for January 2024, so that everything would be in place at the beginning of the year. And coincide with our budget, of course, as well. So I think that this is recognizing that there are perhaps some inconsistencies or some reviews that need to be done, but it has to be on a much bigger picture than just individual
Okay,
considerations.
so that is something that will have to be reviewed for the tipping fees next year. You can't change what's there now, and
But it is a single axle truck. So why couldn't I just be charged a single axle truck?
I would think
Because-
because it's commercial.
It does, it's rated.
So, yeah, I gotta tell you, I totally see where you're coming from, because there is inconsistencies there, because you're right, another single axle truck, if you can't take off the whatever it is, the container, so we definitely need to work on finding consistencies that ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're bringing in this much, it's gonna cost you this. I don't care what vehicle is bringing it in, let's just charge by the cubic yard and make it consistent. right?
Yeah, I mean,
So-
because if we make an exception here, I mean, you're gonna have Miller and Canor
Yeah,
knocking
yeah,
on our
and-
door.
I 100% agree. I see where you're coming from. I don't think we can change it tonight because it's a bylaw that we have on our books now. But I appreciate you bringing it forward, and I think hopefully in our new bylaw, we'll be able to create some consistency here, sir. We're only a couple of months away
Yeah,
from
which is what-
starting that process anyways, to be honest, so,
Yeah, it's just, it's $8 in this fire, it's 50 anymore.
yeah.
That's a big difference. So I can't do business.
Yeah,
And I pay taxes. Okay.
okay,
appreciate you
Thank
bringing it
you.
forward.
Thank you.
thank you. All in favor?
Sorry, can you reread?
Again,
I'm sorry.
moved by Counselor McGinnis, second by Counselor Featherstone. Whereas the Public Works Manager has been approached by business owner Sean Burnett of Bin There Store That regarding commercial tipping fees of yard measured bins, and that the owner requests to be exempt as a yard measured bin due to the size of the bins that he's offering to his customers. Therefore, the Public Works Manager recommends to council that Mr. Burnett pay the yard bin tipping rate for commercial rate bins and take into consideration his letter of concern when the tipping fees are reviewed in 2024.
Yep, yeah, I wish we could do more tonight, but it makes sense that,
Okay, all in favor? Carry.
because it's a bylaw that we pass every year, right? Or is it a
Every
resolution or
3 years.
bylaw that we
No,
pass for
you-
tipping fees?
Yeah, so
Hasn't been reviewed.
a user fee bylaw would be passed probably for a 3 to 4 year term.
Right,
It does require all of it'll go for first reading and second reading, and there has to be a public meeting in order to change it. So there is quite the process to doing it. So nothing could just be changed today.
and we're on the cusp of starting that process
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
It's gonna happen almost with haste regardless, because we'd have to start that process soon to get it
Yeah.
for January 1st anyway, so.
I think she said July.
Our CAO just said January.
Okay.
Yeah.
And other municipalities, they use a scale system, correct?
No.
No, these first.
Only North
$8 a
Bay's
yard.
got the,
Yeah, you can't,
Yeah.
the scale system
It's
for small,
super
expensive, it's super
Yeah.
expensive.
No, it's not. Way less.
Yeah.
We can do a 10-yard bin for $108.
No, we can install it for us.
To us.
Oh,
To
yeah.
us. Yeah.
Not worth that. Definitely not. Sorry.
Our next one. 3.6 is donation of recycling bins. Moved by Councillor Clark, second by Councillor Corbett. Whereas the Township of Bonfield's landfill bylaw will come into full force and effect on September 30th, 2023, and that the township has put much effort into educating the public on the requirements of the landfill and recycling programs, and that educating the public includes teaching the young students of Ecole Lorraine to form recycling habits early. Therefore, the Public Works Manager recommends to council to donate 5 recycling bins to the school with educational packages to encourage the students of Ecole Lorraine to adopt the best practices for recycling. Any questions? All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Report from Public Works Manager, read the Sander unit file for 1-ton truck. Moved by Councillor Corbett, second by Councillor Clark. Whereas the Public Works Manager obtained quotes for an electric sander unit and plow for the 2023 Chevrolet 1-ton, and whereas 2 quotes were obtained for each appurtenance, and whereas the Public Works Manager recommends to council to purchase the V plow and electric sander unit from Bumper to Bumper for a total cost of $26,586.76, including HST. Be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Do we have that new truck?
Yes, we do.
I haven't seen it yet.
We
have to go
the
for a ride
labels
in it.
before we get there.
The next parade.
Yes,
Put it
we
in
get to
the
drive
sander
it in the parade and
Yeah.
we'll put a float on the back for you with the sander unit. You can ride the sander unit.
You can wear Santa Claus suit.
Yes.
Next, the tender and quote results for the winter sand. Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that the Public Works Manager recommends to council that Myron Topsoil be awarded the RFQ for the purchase of winter sand at a total cost of $42,128.64 after tax rebates. And furthermore, that the winter sand be mixed with salt from Windsor Salt for a total cost of $25,192.68 after tax rebate. Any question?
Where were we last year for the same stuff? Quite a bit.
No, I'm off guard.
Quite a bit.
The sheriff's salt's $130 a ton. And honestly, in the 8 years I've been here, it started at 90. Yes, and actually there's a salt shortage. If you notice, there's no box salt on the shelves.
There's a strike.
Pickling salt, yes, in the Godridge mine. So delivery also is probably playing a big factor on that as well. But we're kind of, for municipalities or anybody in infrastructure, we're at our knees when it comes to salt because you need it and there's a shortage.
Okay, all in favor? Alright,
Yes. We did increase our budget this year operationally to mitigate those issues that we kind of foreseen coming down the pipe.
Next one, moved by Councillor Corbett, second by Councillor Clark, that the Public Works Manager recommends to council to award the RFQ for quarried A gravel for the purpose of stockpile and Pine Lake Road to Myron Topsoil for a total cost of $369,933.94. Any question?
Just how much of that is stockpile versus Pine Lake?
Pine Lake Road is 11,684 ton and our stockpile is 5,250. It's actually cheaper to get the belly dump because the pit's closer to Pine Lake than it is to Line 3,
So
which is odd usually.
just a follow-up. So if we like, how much are we typically putting down per year? And does this give us a jump start if we wanted a gravel program? What's that? What's so funny about that?
It's
This is gonna be
because-
the first.
Right, so
Yes.
this 5 inches isn't a typical maintenance treatment. That is getting us back up to par.
Right.
Right, so every 4 to 7, you have to kind of look at your road systems. Every 4 to 7, you should be doing 3 inches.
Uh-huh.
on a rotational basis. I can't give you an exact off the top of my head. I did have a presentation with the past council in regards just to that simple gravel program that I can bring back to the Public Works Committee meeting on September 6th, actually, if we want to get a better grab on that one.
I mean, I don't ever remember one.
No, I don't think we ever had one, but I'm
Not
gonna say
this
if we're gonna,
council, the-
if we're gonna look at like a better gravel program, like, I'm just trying to get a sense, 5,200 tons,
No.
No, it should be like
We'll
around
be,
300,000
we'll be the 11, 12,000
300,000 annually?
annually.
until we get caught up.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, we're looking at 12,000 ton per year.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, like, you could probably break it up into 4
Yes,
years to do
quadrants,
the whole
yeah.
township.
Is this our first year starting though? right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
yes.
okay.
In the budget for this year, we did increase the budget by 50,000 to allow us the additional in the stockpile.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. I just wish it
And-
went further.
Yes.
That's all.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
Yeah.
do we,
Yeah.
because our gravel pits are open too, right?
Our gravel pits at the
Yeah,
township owns?
Yeah,
We don't have quarried gravel or a gravel.
but anyone can go and get gravel, no?
No. They can come and get pickled sand.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
not gravel.
not gravel. Expect like, not gravel.
I asked. You said something about the pickled sand. Residents are welcome to come to the township for pickled sand. at a
Or like your
cost.
driveway or for your, yes, as
Okay.
part of your tax.
I'm asking because Rockridge Lane, we're gonna have our annual meeting sometime soon, and I know it's always a cost that we have. And we always ask, okay, I don't know if we're able to get some from the township or not.
So typically, like you would come with a couple of bins and load it with a shovel. It's not that we permit anyone to come with a big tandem truck or,
Absolutely.
yes,
Okay, go ahead. Just information to have.
no
Thank you.
problem. And we don't offer it commercially.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So this would be for
Yeah, just like
for the
your
residents
stairs
on
or
Rockridge
your,
Lane.
Supplementing what we would put in.
Okay. All in favor? Carried. The next is information, is the property tax assessment update, which they're not going to do a property tax assessment for a while yet. That affects us. But nothing we can do about it. And then, here we go. I'll let Donna speak on this one. Letter from Minister Clark, Building Faster Fund. We went to AMO and that's all we heard.
Yes, yeah, there would be a few expletives, so I'm going to abstain from speaking.
And that's all, or I shouldn't
So
say that's all I
essentially,
talked
this-
about.
the Building Better Fund, the province wants more houses and they're destroying green land and all of that stuff. And so now the province has announced that there's the 10%. Now there's a fund that municipalities will get. I mean, Bondfield doesn't have a lot of stock, so, but I think some of the examples that he used were some municipalities will get 4 million if they reach the target of the housing that they put in place. So
At the province set for them.
that the province set for them, yeah. So it's incentive to destroy faster or build faster, and then you're gonna get this. I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
How many homes do we need to build?
Yeah.
Well, we went to the conference, but we expected maybe
Did Doug
all the
Ford come?
municipalities
You guys
are
were-
going to get some money, but we didn't find money, right?
There was
We
zero
found
money
no
for us.
We found no money, no.
So there was a lot of different sessions and we went to them all but I found that they're putting more on the municipalities and less money, and that I was kind of disappointed. Usually you go to AMO and come back with something.
Little goodie,
Well, this was their big announcement, right? The
Yeah, that was the
10%.
announcement.
Yeah, this was.
which
the
is
big
great if you're a large municipality.
Yeah,
with
we don't,
Yeah.
Building stock.
Yeah.
where are we gonna get the money for that?
Did you get any pens or-
So, yeah, I got lots
We're
of
gonna
that.
get it. We're selling a 40 by 40.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. For $500,000.
We're flush with cash. Flush with cash now.
May I add something to the end of your meeting? Just a little update, their government deals auction. The 3-ton closed today as well as that little tractor. The 3-ton closed at $14,600. I was aiming for 10, so I'm happy with
Oh,
that.
to get that spatula we always have.
And the tractor sold for $2,025. The grader is still, it doesn't close till tomorrow. I'll
Is
have
there
an
any bids on
update.
it?
Yes,
No.
more than scrap.
Perfect.
6150.
It's great.
So yeah, it was
Very
kind of
good.
exciting. Everybody's like waiting for the last minute.
Buy some more gravel.
We were, is there the revenue from the MTs that goes to the,
Yes, it's in the Parks and Recreation budget. It would have to be, you would
Yeah.
have to ask them to
yeah,
bring that.
yeah, if we could get even a revenue report, we see the disbursements, but we
Yeah.
don't know what we're, and then we're
So-
getting some more revenue.
There'll be a budget to actual. in
Okay,
September,
okay,
sure,
great.
once we get to that next quarter.
Thank you.
Okay, before we're going to, we have to go in a closed session after this. But before we do, Steve, do you want to talk about Saturday?
Sure do. What's Saturday?
Yeah, you need to tell your
So
friends.
our fire department is going to set off our fireworks that we bought for Canada Day that we weren't able to use because of the fire ban. So that's at, we're guessing probably around 9 o'clock. We have some music coming on from like 7 till 9. And Reptile Camp's gonna run a bunch of field games for kids. So parents can come, dump their kids off with us and go and enjoy the music. And fire department auxiliary board is running a snack shop as well. So we have our last free family event this Saturday night, probably 7 to 9:30, somewhere around there.
Please tell your friends.
Yeah,
I'm volunteering for the fire department, so I'll be.
Hey,
Oh,
right on.
that's
That's
nice.
awesome.
Oh, sorry. So should we say though that council paid for the music, so there was no cost to the township for that?
I didn't pay it.
Yeah.
Well, some councilors paid.
Yeah. Remember you said council, not mayor and
Yeah, I
council.
did.
Yeah.
Moved by Councillor McGinnis, seconded by Councillor Featherstone, that council approves the September 2nd, 2023 rain date event for the Canada Day fireworks with a ban. All in favor? Carried. Okay. We have to move into a closed session, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for
Thank you.
staying. Tell your friends.
I want you to bring up